very warm welcome to Daily Dispatch, a show that gives you all the latest news and updates from the digital ecosystem. I'm Priya Sheth. Thank you very much for logging in. Time now to get you all the top news stories that we've been tracking for you this evening. Well, first up, fitness and wellness platform CultFit has acquired Bengaluru-based connected fitness startup Tread. Now, Tread has recently launched a smart fitness bike, and the acquisition will help CultFit launch its hardware-at-home business vertical. The acquisition of Tread is the first step towards launching a suite of smart fitness hardware products, including Tread smart bikes, benches, and many more. Well, moving on to the second headline of the day, California-based Eightfold AI has raised $220 million in a Series E round led by SoftBank's Vision Fund 2. The enterprise startup is now valued at about $2.1 billion. The funds will be used to continue the growth and development of its AI-powered talent intelligence platform and expand its growing partner ecosystem. Well, B2B bio-intelligence startup Slintel has raised about $20 million in a Series A funding round led by global venture capital firm GGV Capital. The Slintel plans to use this capital to expand globally and build a powerful, reliable marketplace for B2B sellers and buyers. Well, moving on to the final headline of the day, hygiene and wellness brand PSafe has raised about 25 crore rupees in a pre-Series B round. Now, through this raise, PSafe aims to build depth in feminine hygiene as well as allocate funds for further R&D and product launches in the next 1 year. Alright, moving on to our second segment, I have with me someone who has compiled a report as far as the Indian private equity scenario is concerned. And the big number out there is $62 billion. That's the kind of investments that have come into India from the private equity space. To discuss this, I have with me Aditya Shukla from Bain. Thank you very much, Aditya, for joining us today on the Daily Dispatch. I want to talk to you about the $62 billion, the kind of inflows that have come into the Indian private equity, Indian market through the private equity space. Run us through what really have been the constituents of these inflows and where really a major chunk of the money has come from.
Sure. So Priya, as you said, look, last year has been a very strong year for private equity in India. If you look at the total deal value, it's north of $60 billion. Even if I take out, mega deals of Reliance Retail and Jio, you are still left with a number that's closer to $35 billion. So that's still a significant chunk of investments. And what you've really seen is that you've seen a few trends that really make up this number that you see. One is in terms of the type of deals. You are seeing a lot of growth equity VC deals, and that momentum continues to be like super strong. And especially last year, because one of the impacts that COVID really had on the investment landscape was that large ticket size deals, their number decreased. So you had a lot more of growth equity, mid-size, smaller check size deals. So that's one very clear trend that we've seen. The second trend that is pretty visible in terms of sector is that consumer tech, IT, and SaaS continue to be super salient and very relevant. So what you would have seen is that if you break up this $60 billion number, these are the sectors that really make up a bulk of investments, and these are the sectors that have seen growth over previous years in terms of investment value and volume. So I think just from a sector perspective, you're seeing that. The other sector that has really contributed last year to investments in India has been healthcare. Part of this is, of course, like, investors and companies trying to de-risk themselves from, supply chain risks from China. So you're seeing a lot of investments in pharmaceutical manufacturing, in API development, and that really is a big story that we think will continue to play out over the next few years. And apart from that, just from type of funds, you're seeing all kinds of funds make investments. You're seeing a lot of sovereign wealth funds, hedge funds, really betting on the Indian market. So I think those trends will continue. But if I had to summarize, I would say, look, this is a secular trend spread across sectors, and I think it's kind of reflective of the underlying strength of the fundamentals of the Indian market.
Give us a sense on how investor confidence is shaping up, considering that there is a lot of foreign capital that is entering the market at this point in time. We understand that restrictions are present as far as Chinese capital is concerned, but give us an overall sense of how investor confidence is shaping up from your perspective.
So it's actually been, so it's interesting because I would say at the end of the year, the market and investor confidence has been as solid and as robust as ever. What you really saw was in the first 2 quarters of last year, there was a dip in deal making activity, and people were playing more of a wait and watch game. But over the second half of the year, and especially if you look at H1 of this year, which also we continue to track very closely, investor confidence is actually fairly high, and you can measure this in a few different ways, Priya. One is just in terms of the dry powder from India focused funds that continues to be high. The second is if we've spoken to a bunch of investors, we've spoken to LPs, and market confidence is fairly high in terms of both specific sectors as well as the underlying strength of the fundamentals of the Indian landscape. So my sense is that, look, last year probably impacted a couple of quarters, and that was also more of a wait and watch period for funds. But investor confidence continues to be very high, and it's become a lot more targeted at specific sectors. So what you are seeing is funds are coming in with a very sector specific thesis and a sector specific view, and those are the kind of segments or sub segments that they're really betting strongly on. The other way you can see this, Priya, is just in terms of how optimistic are funds and firms about the fundraising environment. And what you're seeing is that investor confidence in large check sizes, sector focus, raising new funds is actually fairly strong. So just combining all these pieces together, I think it's pretty clear that investor confidence continues to be fairly high.
When you talk about exits, while we have seen a significant number of exits that are paying out, the exit value, according to your report, has declined. So, what has been the key reasons for this decline in exit value?
So, I think one, if you were to look at the last, 10 years, I would say it's the exit value has come down, but 2018 was a year where exit values were very high, and that included Flipkart. So if you discounted Flipkart, you were probably at around $16 billion of exit value in 2018, and then around 12 to 13 in 2019. And that number is now $9 billion. So I think there's been a decline. I don't think it's been a drastic drop. I think there are a few reasons for this. One is that most funds portfolios didn't really reach maturity in 2020. And if you look at the average holding period, I think that, and that's in our report, I think that becomes very clear. The second, I think, reason is that funds were actually, given the COVID environment and given the impact that the first 2 quarters had on portfolio companies, they were trying to re-engineer these companies, create efficiencies, and they spent a lot of time really working on portfolio priorities. So I think that is one of the reasons, and because if you look at it from a sector perspective, it's still very spread out across different sectors. You actually saw secondary sales increase a lot last year, and a lot of that was because of consumer tech and IT and SaaS exits. And I think the other point to really note is that if you break this up by quarter, Q4 of 2020 saw almost 60% increase in exit value and a 160% increase in exit volume over Q4 of 2019. So in effect, I guess the takeaway is that exit slowed down. I think part of it was driven by what happened in the first half of the year. Companies have spent time re-engineering the portfolio, but you are seeing green shoots of exit activity rebounding. And we continue to see that through H1 of 2021 as well.
Right, when you look forward in terms of how 2021 is panning out, and we've already seen 6 months of 2021 pan out, what is your estimate in terms of how inflows are panning out? Do you think that we'll see similar kind of deal volumes as we did see last year?
Yeah, I think so. Look, we're still you still need to put all the numbers together, but based on the work that we do, and we do a lot of work with with funds and in the private equity space, I think it's very clear that there is very strong investment momentum, and it's spread across sectors. So I would say, consumer tech, and especially within that, ed tech, food tech, logistics tech continue to be very important. You are seeing a lot of activity in SaaS and enterprise tech. I would say that is one of the big stories, and a lot of funds are participating in that story. So the first half of this year, Priya, we've actually seen very strong momentum, just in terms of the number of deals that are happening, the number of deals that are in the market. So I can't, my sense is that value at the end of the year will obviously be determined by how many big ticket deals eventually happen. And I think last year was a bit of a, got a bit of a fillip because of the Reliance Retail and the Jio deals. But in terms of volume and in terms of investment activity, you are actually seeing a very strong momentum. And these are the sectors, I would say, consumer tech, SaaS, healthcare, that continue to be very salient.
Yeah, as we move forward, we're also seeing a lot of these e-commerce companies going ahead with filing for IPOs. We can expect some IPOs coming up towards the end of this year or early 2022. Wanted to understand from your perspective, are we going to be seeing a bulk of exits happening via this route, considering that this IPO route is now becoming more active?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think you will see a lot of exits through public markets. And I think one of the reasons for that is that a lot of these consumer tech companies, if you go back a few years, you saw a lot of investments in consumer tech, and then there have been a few winners in specific subsegments and categories. Those are the winners that are actually going to go public. And our sense is that these are a great opportunity for investors to exit. Some of them have already exited. So my view is that going forward, you will see a lot more of public market activity, and that's actually good, because that really reflects confidence in the broader Indian private equity ecosystem.
A final question before I let you go, with regards to valuations. There is a sense in the market that valuations are very high at this point in time, considering there is a lot of cash that is chasing deals at this point in time, startups at this point in time. So what is your view on how valuations are shaping up? Are they too high at this point in time?
So look, they are. I would say they are on the higher side. I think part of that is really driven by a few subsectors within consumer tech and SaaS that have seen high valuations. I guess the rationale for that some folks will tell you is that, look, these are large market opportunities, still have a lot of white space. So these companies have actually a lot of headroom for growth. So I guess that's one of the reasons driving these valuations. Our sense is that valuations would temper over the next couple of years. But absolutely, I would say right now, overall, you need to break it by a sector level lens. And if you look at like sectors that have really driven deal values and volumes last year, especially within the technology space, valuations have been on the higher side. Our expectation, Priya, is that they will temper over the next couple of years, as they have in other markets, right? So I think the US is a good analog, where enterprise tech SaaS, for example, has seen a lot of investment activity over the last decade. And over time, valuations in mature markets have also followed a certain trajectory that we think the India market will end up following.
All right, Aditya, thank you very much for joining us and for all your valuable insights with regards to this report and the way forward. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Priya. Thank you.
Well, time now to wrap up this edition of the Daily Dispatch. I'll catch you on Monday at 5 p.m. Goodbye and have a lovely weekend.